Afternoon again everyone, and welcome back to the Icknield Way. This is part 6 I believe, and it's Linton to Cheveley, 16 miles. I've got the day off work and the weekend off as well, so it's late July and it's really warm out today, so the cold towels have been cracked out. I've got a new wicking OEX t-shirt, which is, so far it's working, but I've not walked very far. Got the rucksack on my back, so you know what that means. Wild camping tonight, with any luck. So I've got my Rab Ridge Raider bivvy, and I've got the OEX Expedition tarp, a little lightweight tarp. Hoping to try and wild camp in or on the Devil's Dyke, near, I think it's near Cheveley, or it might even be in Cheveley. I think it's just outside Cheveley tonight. So the Devil's Dyke, I think, is like an ancient sort of defensive ditch that was dug possibly in the Iron Age, maybe earlier than that, who knows. Yeah, there's not a lot of spots along the second half of the Icknield Way really to camp. And of course I'm on my own as well, because my mate Richard, who I was doing the Icknield Way with, can no longer do it. He's busy with family and stuff like that and work, so yeah, I've got to finish the Icknield Way on my own. Okay, we're just about to pass the Dog and Duck, so I think this is where we need to look at the map. Yes, good thing I remembered that. So the Dog and Duck pub, the thatched pub back there, you turn down Meadow Lane, I think this is called. That's the Icknield Way apparently, according to the guidebook from the actual Icknield Way Association. I think it cost me about a tenner, but it's been absolutely invaluable. It's not been the best of guidebooks, but it's better than just winging it, and it's got some nice bits of information about each section. So I'm looking forward to this one. I hope you are as well. Do join me, stick with me. Thanks for subscribing as always. Enough talking, let's get walking. Just a short distance off the route of the path is Linton's clapper stile. This historic stile was replaced with a new one in 2001. The clapper stile is one of only 7 left in the UK. Other examples are in Berkshire, Derbyshire, Sussex and Warwickshire. Before leaving the recreation ground by the footbridge, first go 170 yards to the western end of the playing fields to see this piece of English history. I've literally just walked up here, didn't even notice it, because it just looks like a fence to me, and then walked back to the recreation ground and asked someone, and they went, yeah, it's up here. So these are the bits that move up and down, and then what you do is you push this down and it opens up like that, there, like so. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's a funny bit of engineering. It almost seems like overkill, like absolutely pointless, but yeah, that's how it works. But then there's a pathway right through there, so basically I think, yeah, there would have been a fence along here, and then what you do is you'd push this bit down and climb over, and yeah, that is Linton clapper style. Great content, innit? The thing that made me laugh the most was the guy I asked. I mean, he was past middle age, so he's probably in his 50s, I reckon, and he knew exactly where it was straight away, pointed me to it, and he was telling me about how they used to make them do it in cross country at school all them years ago, and it was just so funny because he went, it's well worth a look. Like, it's Linton's only tourist attraction is an odd style. Oh, it's brilliant. Anyways, we're heading over the river, over this footbridge, and then we'll be heading out of Linton on the Icknield Way proper then. I'll say it once more, enough talking, let's get walking. just got to the top of the hill outside of Linton. That was a killer. And there's a cairn for remembrance here and a little handmade bench. The girl was just run up this hill. And look how well, we're actually quite high up really for this sort of area. Look at that. That's actually quite a good view. Didn't know you had it in your Cambridgeshire. Well done. Look at that. What a nice place to have a bench and stop. Which I think I might do for 5 minutes. This Roman road, known as the Via Davana, ran from Colchester to Cambridge and beyond to Godmanchester, along what in this area is now the A1307 and the A14. The name Via Davana was coined in the 18th century by Dr. Mason, a Cambridge geologist, who believed that the original road reached as far as Deva, the Roman town at Chester. We're heading into the village of Balsham, I believe it's pronounced, and apparently there's an Icknield Way Association milestone there. I don't know when the last one was. I think it was back at the start at Ivinghoe Beacon, possibly. So yeah, I haven't seen another one since, I don't think. I can't remember, to be honest with you. It's absolutely boiling. If this breeze weren't here, I'd have sacked this off and gone home, I think. It's so warm out. The breeze is just keeping me going. The cold towels have kind of stopped being cold, really. They're just warm and sweaty now. I've not really walked that far. According to the book, I've only done about 5 miles. The joys of filming. It takes so long. And I don't even feel like I've filmed much, really, but yeah. Plus, I don't walk that fast anyway. Anyone that walks with me knows I'm not a fast walker. I like to sort of take my time and enjoy it, really. Can't see the point in like trying to do it as fast as possible. Might as well go to the gym and go on a treadmill and do that shit. So yeah, I like to savour the moment and enjoy where I am and stuff like that. Balsham is one of the strip-shaped villages of the Radford Hundred. The village was first settled in Saxon times, but the population was massacred in 1010 AD by marauding Vikings. This incident is commemorated on the village sign. The fine church has a 13th century tower containing a 400-year-old bell. Managed to fill up some 500ml water bottles at the church, the Holy Trinity Church in Balsham. Soaked my cold towels, ditched my trousers there in the rucksack, so I've just got some like gym shorts on, so nice and cool now, a lot better. There's a nice breeze as well, which you probably hear on the audio, sorry not sorry, and we've left Balsham, we're heading out of the village now on Fox Lane, which is this green lane which runs for I think just over 3 miles, so not going to be a lot to see and film and that, so I think I'm just going to put my foot down and eat up some miles now. But yeah, I'm just glad I've got another litre of water to drink, because I'm absolutely putting it away at the moment. It's really hot, and that breeze, like I say, that breeze is the only bit of comfort I've got. Wish me luck. Enough talking and let's get walking. Whoop whoop. It's 6:30. We're leaving Brinkley. Quite a nice little village actually, bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to try and push on without water to Borough Green. It's only 3/4 of a mile apparently, according to the sign back there. And the Bull pub in Borough Green is still very much open and in service, so I'm going to get some water there, maybe get a cold drink. I was just really annoyed though that the church in Brinkley didn't even have a tap inside or out. It's like, how do people water flowers then to tend to graves? I thought, joke, absolute joke. Lovely, that one's having a wee. Borough Green is another of the strip-shaped villages of the Radford Hundred. The 11th century church houses monuments to the De Burgh family. The Bull pub is just there, I believe, and we want to head that way anyway for the route. It goes, I think, between a house and the Bull pub, so we haven't got to make a detour, which is good. I'm definitely going to fill up the water bottles there, and I think I may as well get a pint of Coke while I'm there. I could probably drink that in about 10 minutes easily, so it's not like it's going to eat into our time to get this route done. I'm feeling a little bit more positive now, I'm not going to lie. There's a couple of times I really wanted to throw in the towel on this one, which isn't like me. I was a bit annoyed at myself, so I think sod it, we can do it. It's probably like 7 o'clock now, but it don't get dark till later, does it? So probably not till like 9:30, 10 o'clock, so I've probably got enough time to get to Devil's Ditch just past Stetchworth. That is such a welcome sight, a pub that's open and it's got outdoor seating and it looks like it's got shade outside as well. Perfect, because I ain't sitting in the sun, been out in it all day. That is the best pint of Coke I've ever tasted. It's so refreshing. Just leaving the Bull pub at Borough Green now, back on the footpath, and they very kindly filled up my 2 500ml water bottles, and the barman even put some ice in it. It was really good of them, really friendly people. And then I got chatting to a couple of the locals that were sat outside, because as soon as they see anyone that's not from round here with a rucksack, you know, the first question they goes, "You got far? Where have you come from?" So of course I sort of zhuzhed it up a bit, sexed it up a bit and went, yeah, I'm walking to Thetford. They went, Christ, not all in one night, are you? I went, no. I said, I'll find somewhere to camp. He was like, you're not scared? And I went, no. I said, I've been doing this for years. I used to just, you know, throwing a shelter down somewhere in the woods. He went, aren't you scared of getting raped? And I went, I'll be honest with you, mate, I think people are more concerned that I'm the one doing the raping, you know, some strange bloke in the woods on his own. Yeah, it was like, fair play to you. It's it's just always funny, isn't it? And it gives you an extra boost, like, to go, I can do this. You know, it's just talking to complete strangers and they think you're absolutely mental what you're doing, but they're like, hats off to you, you know. And they're like, you're doing this for charity? And I went, no, I'm doing it for myself. Walking the Icknield way. And it was like, where did you start? And I went, just outside Linton. I wanted to say Ivanhoe Beacon, that I've done the whole thing in one go, but I couldn't, so I said Linton. They went, oh yeah, just up the road. I thought, shit, Tom, you should have said Ivanhoe Beacon in Buckinghamshire. They'd have gone, what? But that pint of Coke, honestly, I can't begin to tell you how nice that was. And I'm like, do you know what? I can bloody do this now. And they went, so where are you thinking of camping? Like, do you know where you got to get to tonight? And I was like, between Stetchworth and Cheveley. Didn't say where exactly, of course. They went, yeah, that's not far, that's just up the road. You'll be there in no time. I reckon I'm looking at another probably hour, maybe an hour and a half of walking tops, and I'm fine with that. I've got plenty of water now to see me through that, and probably some for camp as well, but I need more for cooking, of course. So I've got 3, count them 3 1 litre Nalgene bottles in the rucksack, empty of course, and I'll try and fill all of them up. You always use like 2 litres easily on a wild camp, I think, you know, cooking your dinner and drinks, and then like a litre in the morning, maybe a little bit for the start of the walk after that. But so with this heat though, and the amount I'm drinking, and I've got dehydrated meals, really you want 3 litres. It's the only problem with like summer wild camping and walking is you save weight with the equipment, the lighter summer kit, but you make up for that in water weight. You have to carry so much, unless you know where the water stops are, or pubs and things like that. Always look ahead. Like, I've looked at all the pubs ahead on this route to see if they're open. It's a lot cooler now, and we're just entering this like shady tree lined path, so it should be a bit easier going. If you've watched this far so far, thank you. Right, enough talking, Tom. Let's get walking. We can do this. This has not been walked for a long time. It's quite overgrown. This is probably the best bit so far, but you're constantly getting caught on brambles, stung by stinging nettles, and of course as it's getting later now, yeah, it's cooler, but there's a lot more insects out, a lot of biting insects, and they love me. No matter how much bug spray and DEET you put on, they always go after me. Like, I've struggled today. It's going to be even hotter tomorrow apparently. I think it's 24 degrees Celsius today. Apparently it could be 29 tomorrow. Dreading it. So this, I believe, is Marmer's Wood, and we've just met this like broad track, which is the Store Valley Path, which is I think, a 60-mile long distance route from Newmarket to Catawade, and I was actually planning on doing that at some point, and then I scrapped it. But I think actually in hindsight, yeah, I should have done it, and I probably will do it again at some point. I might do it in stages. I might not even wild camp, I might just do it in stages. Anyway, so if you can read this, I'm trying to do this with, you need like 3 hands to do some of this shit on YouTube, I'm telling you. There we go. So there's Marmor's Wood. So sort of centre of the screen, it's about where we are, and the Store Valley path is there. So I believe, yeah, we've got to turn left, and it's not far to Stetchworth, where the pub is. I thought this Marmor's Wood wasn't a possible camp spot when I looked it on Google Earth and Google Maps and whatnot, and the OS map, because I thought, well, the path sort of follows the perimeter of it, so therefore I thought there's probably going to be a fence around it. Well, there isn't. There's a shallow ditch, and that's about it, and it looks quite dense in places in there, and I'm thinking I could have probably got away with a cheeky little stealth camp. Too late now. I'm here and I've not got enough water, because I plan to get more water at Stetchworth and camp on the Devil's Ditch, or the Devil's Dyke it's now saying on the map. So looks like a nice little woodland in there as well. Oh well, we've got to press on. Oh yeah, by the way, did I mention we're in horse racing country? Could be the future Grand National winners there. Yes, get in. We're in Stetchworth, people. I can hear the pub from here. Apparently it's the Marquis of Granbury, I think it's called, Granby, something like that. So I'm approaching the pub, and it honestly sounds like a pirates convention is going on in there. So it's it sounds proper rowdy. They sound like they're about 10 deep. Another pint of Coke, and the landlady very kindly filled up all of my 1 litre Nalgene bottles, so I've got 3 litres of water. Really friendly in there, and yeah, cool. So I got asked about where I'd come from. Have you travelled far? How was Everest? All that sort of stuff, yeah. And then some guy was asking me about the Icknield Way, so I'm going to enjoy this. So it's about half a mile now from the pub here in Stetchworth to the Devil's Dyke, or the Devil's Ditch, where I'm planning on trying to wild camp for the night. Got all my water with me. I really nearly considered asking the landlady there of the pub if I could possibly like camp for the night at the back of the beer garden, because it looked like the sort of place where they'd probably allow it. You only just have a good vibe, a good feeling about somewhere, and you think they'd probably be alright with it if, you know, I just hung around, spent a bit more money of course, and then just, you know, as they close up, just pitch up around the back. Right, it looks like we're going up over a ridge here, which can mean only one thing. We're on the Devil's Ditch, or Devil's Dyke, that like prehistoric defensive ditch. The Icknield Way goes that way, but we're stopping for tonight, and that there's these steps that sort of go up and along it. So I'm going to try and look for somewhere around here now, along the ditch to pitch up. Sketchy one. Look, it looks quite deep in there, just through there, but we'll see. I've got no other choice unless I go back to that pub and ask them if I can pitch up. It's not that far away. I mean, I did that in 15-20 minutes, if that, so there's always that possibility, but I don't want to do that. I don't really want to inconvenience them, so I'd rather try and wild camp, as always. Use pubs and people's back gardens as a last resort. Look at this, it's like a chalk ridge, I mean, there's nowhere on the path to pitch up. You couldn't do that, so you'd have to come off of it slightly. So I'm just going to have a look around now, both sides of this path. I'll look both sides first spot and bring you back when I found somewhere, hopefully. Fingers crossed, everyone, keep everything crossed for me. There doesn't really seem to be any viable spots along here. The path going along the ridge is quite steep, of course, but like the bottom of it, like the bottom of the ditch either side of it, is full of stinging nettles, and you don't know how deep it is. You don't know if there's any water in it. It's not going to rain tonight, so it wouldn't flood, but you couldn't pitch in there. And either side of the footpath, like if you were to take the Icknield way here and then immediately turn left or right to then get down into the ditches of the Devil's Dyke, or whatever it's called, would actually mean trespassing, because there's actually private signs saying Stetchworth Farms Estate, private keep out, so you're asking for trouble there. And as the pub is like 10-15 minutes walk, if that way, I'm going to make that call, and I'm going to give them a bell now and say, look, I just popped in, I was the walker that popped in for a drink and to fill up some water bottles. My camp spot for the night hasn't worked out. Is there any chance I could just pitch at the back of your beer garden, you know, after it's closed, and, you know, buy some more drinks? Maybe, I doubt they're doing food this time of night now, but like get some crisps, stuff like that. So I'm going to call them up now. Wish me luck. It was always going to be sketchy, this one. I really didn't know anywhere I could have camped. I mean, that Marmer's Wood was the best spot, 100%. When I saw that, I was like, shit, that would have worked a treat. And I thought it was, well, it probably is private, but I thought it would have been all fenced off and everything. Let's call the pub up, see what they say. Definitely keep everything crossed for me now, okay? Because otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to walk to Cheveley and, I don't know, get a cab or something back to Linton. That would absolutely suck. I do not want to go home on this. I'm going to wild camp, or camp, whatever, in a beer garden if I have to. Come on, people. Come on. The charm offensive has worked. So I called them up, and it was the landlady again, and I was the guy with the rucksack. I was in literally 10-15 minutes ago. The guy walking, she went, I remember you, my lovely. And I went, I've got a big favour to ask you. Do you reckon I could pitch my Tarp And Bivvy in the back of your beer garden tonight once you've closed up? I'll buy drinks, I'll buy crisps, whatever. And she was like, let me just check with my hubby one moment. So I heard her sort of, you know, muffled talk in the background, and she went, the only thing is we've not got any facilities. And I went, honestly, that's absolutely fine. Like, I use the toilet whilst you're still open before you close, and then once you close up at 11, I'll just, you know, I'll pitch up then, yeah, once everyone's gone. I am definitely buying a pint of cider in that pub and some nibbles. They just went, yeah, we'll see you soon. I went, I'm heading back now. You don't ask, you don't get. Of course, I'd rather wild camp, but it ain't going to happen. And you don't know until the last minute, do you? So, oh, that's an absolute lifesaver. It's going to feel a bit awkward, I guess, but I'll just hang around. I'll just be like a barfly, hanging around. And then once everyone's gone, I'll just pitch up. I'll be out first thing in the morning. Thank you, the Marquis of Granby in Stetchworth. They've got me out of trouble. Oh, so it's not quite going to be wild camping, this one, but do you know what? Oh, I actually don't care. I might even still, I'm thinking of future Tom, editing Tom, I might still put wild camping in the title. Deal with it, people, you know, deal with it. I'll even try and get a photo of me next to me shelter in the beer garden. That's not wild camping, Tom, is it? Right, let's get back to that pub and get a cold one in. Yes! Got myself a Magners pear cider. 2 bags of crisps. I've got to sort of spend a little bit of money, you know, just show my appreciation. I'm going to just go over the back there later on when it's quiet. It's almost like stealth camping again, isn't it? I've got to like wait for everyone to clear out, of course, at 11 o'clock and then set up. So yeah, I'm just going to sit here. It's so hot in the pub and all the locals are in there, and I thought I'll leave them to it. So I'm just going to sit out here because it's a bit cooler. Absolutely shattered. It didn't take me long to walk back, probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. When they close up, I'll go in and just, you know, sort of quietly say, is it all right to sort of set up now? But I'll wait until everyone's gone and they're locking up and then set up, I think. That Magnus ain't going to drink itself. That's me all set up at the back of the beer garden. It's 11 o'clock at night. Everyone's left the pub now. So I'm tucked right around the back. It's like a van there. And then the pub is in the dark over there. They've got neighbours on either side, so I'm having to be really, really quiet. But I thought I'd quickly show you the setup. OEX Expedition tarp in green with orange trim. There we go. Then underneath it, I got my Rab Ridge Raider hooped bivvy. It has got a storm door and a bug door, don't worry. There's my Osprey Exos rucksack. Food for tonight, I'll show you that in a minute. And then inside quickly, silver foam full length mat. A brand new Climate Static V full length inflatable mat. That's the summer one. R value of about 1.3. because it's hot tonight. This is a Mountain Warehouse summer sleeping bag. It's actually got a built-in bug head net. Ah, the moths are getting in. There we go, it's the Vacation anti-bug bag. A silk OEX liner, probably don't really need because that's a synthetic bag. A Trekology Olaf 2 pillow. And then I've got some stuff to sleep in. I'm probably not going to need like my thermal leggings and long sleeve top. I could sleep in shorts and t-shirt in this weather, but then I've got like my battery pack and cables, a little sleeping mask to block out the light, maps, guidebook in there. I've got a cheeky extra cider that I didn't buy from here. Ausker blood orange and blackcurrant cider, 4%. Cider. That's not bad. The blood orange is really nice. I'm going to give it a 7.9 out of 10. I've got loads of meths, so that means in my Alkit titanium pots I've got a little mini alcohol stove. This is new. Food on the move. Dehydrated meals, spaghetti bolognese. Look how vacuum packed and thin that is. Unbelievable. So I'm going to give them a try. They were actually quite cheap. And then for dessert, rice pudding with strawberries with full cream milk. Nice. And then for breakfast, apple and sultana porridge. I'll have that first thing in the morning. I'm going to cook these up now, and then I'll just let you know what they're like once I'm in the bivvy before I go to sleep, alright? I'm inside the bivvy now. Really, really warm in here, and I've only got the mesh door up. I've just left the storm door open to let air in, but it is going to be a warm night. So I'm literally in like a wicking vest and a pair of shorts. Summer bag is, yeah, it's going to be absolutely fine. The dehydrated meals, both really, really good. And I'd say both of them looked and tasted like it was like real food. It wasn't artificial or anything. With the spaghetti bolognese, it was literally just like, you know, sticks of of pasta, like spaghetti, that you had to break up and stuff. You had to break it all up, and it was really nice, really flavourful, and there was just the right amount. There wasn't like tons, but there wasn't like a child's portion, so that was just right, because it's quite late at night to be eating. And then the rice pudding with strawberries was amazing, and I think that was due to the fact that it had like full cream milk in it, and they rehydrated well, both of them. The foil pouches have got like a gusset bottom on them, that when you open the pouch up, you then just, you know, unfold the gusset bottom so it stands up. And they didn't actually require that much water. The pasta bolognese was 300ml and the rice pudding was 200, so literally half a litre, that's all. There are some main meals, dehydrated main meals, that require like 500-600ml. So I've set an alarm for about 6:30. If I wake up before then, I'll just get up, but really I still want to try and get, you know, a few hours decent kip. What I noticed last night, well, tonight, isn't it, yeah, was that there was like, they had like a few bits of rubbish laying around in the garden where people just chuck like crisp packets and Coke cans and stuff like that. So what I might do is, they've got loads of bins dotted around. People can't use bins, it's a joke, I know. What I'll do, I've already put my rubbish in one of the bins that's outside here. They said I could do that. What I'm going to do is, if I've got time in the morning when I've packed up, is I'll quickly go round and clear up their rubbish and stuff, just like as a favour really, for saying thank you for letting me stay here, you know, because they didn't have to, they could have just said no. So it's the least I can do. I'm going to get some sleep now. Enough yawning. I'll see you in the morning. Night everyone. Morning everyone. It's just gone 6 AM. It's pretty quiet here. Looks like there's a dew on the ground. I eventually got to sleep and eventually slept well. Basically I couldn't quite get comfortable. It was like trying to figure out like what was the best sleeping position, whether it was laying on my back, either side, or even laying on my stomach. I remember looking out and I could see it was starting to get light, and I was like, oh shit, I really need to get, you know, some sleep, some proper sleep. And yeah, luckily I eventually did, but 3 hours of decent kip, I reckon, and the rest was just like, I suppose it was rest, but it wasn't like proper sleep. I've deflated the mat and the pillow, so I can't laze around in bed anymore, so so there we go, I'm all packed away, leaving no trace, a little bit of flat grass. The tarp is soaking wet from like the heavy dew that we had overnight and this morning, but the bivvy stayed bone dry, of course, so it was actually worth having the tarp, even though it didn't rain. It literally, if you looked at that tarp, it looks like it's pissed down all night. Picked up a few bits of rubbish while I was taking my rubbish to the bin, so that's my rent paid, as it were. Right, let's get all this stuff sorted out and head off. Right, it's 7:30 and I'm leaving the Marquis of Granby pub here in Stetchworth. Big thank you to them for letting me stay in the beer garden overnight. So we're back at the Devil's Dyke, or the Devil's Ditch, and it's this tree line going along here. It goes for quite a long way, quite a few miles, and you can walk along that. And I think the Store or Stour Valley Way follows that as well. But our route, the Icknield Way, takes us straight across it. It cuts right through it basically. The Icknield Way was probably here when they built the Devil's Ditch, because like I say, it is one of the oldest trackways in the country, so they probably coexisted together at the same time. That's pretty cool. Let's go and have a quick closer look at it now that we've got some more daylight. Last night the light was fading, so I think it's like a chalk bank. I'm climbing up it now. And yeah, it goes along that way and then that way, but we are going this way. Let's see what it's like from the other side. This is the Devil's Dyke, or Devil's Ditch. It's one of 5 long dykes which lie at right angles to the Icknield Way. Devil's Dyke is still 20 feet wide in places, rising to 30 feet from the floor of the ditch. It was probably built to protect the land to the northeast from attack from the southwest, and is the finest Anglo-Saxon earthwork of its kind in the country. There have been many finds of coins and other artefacts of the East Anglian Iceni tribe to the northeast of this dyke, and very few to the southwest. This has led some historians to suggest that it marked the limit of Iceni territory. So you can see the land drops away down there. That's the ditch, and it goes up the ridge. It's higher up there. Now these signs here, these Stetchworth Estate Farms, private, no public access, they were the signs I saw last night that made me decide to ask about camping in the pub beer garden, because I wanted to sort of come down here and then go sort of around here and then get down into the ditches and see if I could find any spots, but it was a complete no-go, and I just thought, I'm not risking it. Knowing my luck, I'll get caught by a gamekeeper, or it'll be some Karen, you know, some Jobsworth that'll stitch me up or something. I just thought, no, I'm not going to do it. And to be honest with you, that's even if I could find a flat spot. There were no flat spots or spots that didn't have stinging nettles or like waist deep grass, and it was just it wasn't ideal anyway. But yeah, that's the Devil's Ditch, or the Devil's Dyke, probably the main highlight of this section. I know it's not a lot to see, but you just got to use your imagination really, and just remember all these trees probably weren't here as well, so it would have been more visible, it would have been more identifiable. Anyways, we're heading off this way. I've not said it yet this morning, it's only 7:30 actually. Loads of people out already, dog walking. Not said it, enough talking, let's get walking. Let's get to Cheveley. This old structure, I believe, is an old mill house. It's seen better days, and there's like sort of a new house, new build there, and then there's this. I mean, that could well be like a listed structure or something. That's pretty cool. It's got CCTV on it. It's big window on the side and a door, and then a smaller window here. It looks like a flat roof. Looks like I could have bitumen on the roof. That's really cool. Did not expect to see that. The Icknield Way passes between all of these horse paddocks and horse fields and stables and stuff like that, and there's just loads for miles. Look, there's some over there. Yeah, you have to just walk between these hedges. We're about 3 miles from Newmarket, and of course Newmarket is like, I'd say, the epicentre of horse racing. It's one of the epicentres of horse racing, so everything round here is geared towards horses, breeding horses, racing horses, training them. It's crazy. It's like a whole other world. Round here, horses come first, human beings come second. People value horses more than they do people, I think, here. Got this path now all the way to Cheveley, so hedges on both sides, nothing to see. It's not particularly well maintained. It's the story of the Icknield way, really. Especially, I think, once you get into like Essex, Cambridgeshire. Oh, when will it end? We've been on this same double hedge track for what feels like an eternity. It's getting so hot. I'm actually at the moment struggling to like put one foot in front of the other. Definitely got a couple of blisters forming. When I've got enough water, so that's not the issue, but it just feels like it's not making a lot of difference. At last we've arrived in Cheveley after that hellish track of just 2 hedges on either side. It's awful. Right, I believe there's a little shop and a pub down there, and the church is further up that way. The cruciform church with a crossing tower in the village of Cheveley has a fine oak screen and a beautiful early English chancel. I've arrived at the parish church here in Cheveley. It's not far from Newmarket, and that's the end of this section. I believe it's section 6, Linton to Cheveley. I've probably been sat here for about an hour. I've got my horrible feet out. I've got my shoes and socks off. Been airing my feet. I've cleaned them. I've got about 3 or 4 very small blisters that are like starting to form, and there's no point in popping them yet. It's gonna get hotter today. They're talking like 27 degrees Celsius it could get up to. I'm sat in the shade of the church at the moment, which is really nice, a conveniently placed bench, but I've still managed to do another section, and it was alright. It wasn't the most interesting section. There were times when the route was very monotonous and tedious, and there wasn't much to see. It was very samey. The villages really have been the only interesting things, apart from the Devil's Dyke or the Devil's Ditch, whatever we're going to call it. There's not really been a hell of a lot to see, if I'm honest, so it's just one of those sections where I'm just glad to have got it done, got it out of the way. I've just spoken to my mum. She says she can come and get me. I thought it was 57 minutes drive. It turns out it's now an hour and 5 minutes drive to get to Cheveley from where we live, and then it's about 25 minutes drive to Linton to pick my car up, and then home. So yeah, I owe her some petrol money. I did look at cabs, and yeah, they weren't cheap. Like my mum said, she went, "Don't pay that, that's ridiculous, I'll come and get you." And I went, "Well, I'll give you the petrol money anyway." So anyway, I'm digressing anyway. So it was a bit novel having a camp in a beer garden of a pub. That's a first. Wouldn't want to make a massive habit of it, but it's good to know that you can always do that. That option's there. So if we're going to take anything away from this video, it's that, you know, if you are struggling to find a wild camping spot but there's pubs on the route, sometimes it's worth just asking them. You know, just be polite, offer to give them some money, offer to tidy up the beer garden, or just buy some drinks and some food in the pub, and you know, a few of them will probably say, yeah, it's absolutely fine. I think I just picked a lucky one there. The sort of beer garden they had, it worked. If it was like a really fancy, like outdoor eating area type sort of beer garden, then no, it wouldn't have worked. But that, I think, worked fine. So the next section is going to be here, Cheveley to Icknield, and that's going to be 14 miles, so 2 miles less than what I've done. The end is in sight though of the Icknield way. Just 30 miles left. I will get it done. I can't wait to get it done. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Apologies for being a moany mini on this video. It's still nice to be out. My OEX t-shirt though was brilliant, really nice and light and thin and breathable. I've still sweated like a pig, but it was good, so I'm happy about that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe everyone, be nice to each other, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers for joining me. See you later. Bye. Thank you.